Isanir, namaste, hello. My name is Bablu, I'm from India. I came to Khakassia to participate in the By Foreigners project. Russia by Foreigners is the only travel show that destroys age-old stereotypes. 10 foreign students, 10 regions, and 3 days to find a common language with the largest country in the world. And one of the most beautiful sights of ancient man. Welcome to Khakassia. As they say, let's go! I came to Russia 3 years ago, but I never knew that there is such a culture as Khakassia. I never even heard of the place called Abakan. First, I visited the museum. I saw stones with drawings there. I've seen the same ones somewhere in India too. Stones are a very important subject. It shows that they love their culture. It was fine.
So, good afternoon. I welcome you to the Republic of Khakassia Ancient Art Hall, where the most grandiose collection of three-dimensional and planar art since the Neolithic era has been collected. This is the Late Stone Age. You can see the themes of the most ancient drawings that have been found in a variety of sites.
We also have the same drawings in India. They were drawn a long time ago. They were found later. They are also in the museum.
You can see copies of the rock paintings here, but we're going to visit another hall where you can see them in a three-dimensional form. This is exactly our significant collection.
Oh, it's the sun, right?
You're right. This pattern is already more or less distinguishable. We can see here, when children visit our museum, they fantasize. There is a chainsaw man here, dagger men. We are near our local deity with sun face. It is scientifically called the Ankakov stele, but we know it as the deity with the sun face. You can see here the unity and struggle of the basic principles, the day and night, good and evil, life and death. Scientists have come to this conclusion. This stela is the logo and symbol of our museum. We are in the central part of the stellarium. This is one of our basic steles. It is called the Shirin Baba, since it is believed that the Okunevites were still matriarchal in their way. Life itself and Mother Nature are glorified here. As a mother feeds her children with milk, so Mother Nature feeds the whole earth with rivers. But if there is a mother, then there must be a child. But can you see the Kese Pelosi here? This translates from Khakass as the stone child. This is a portrayal transportable, possibly personal family amulet. This image of the Karasuk period man dates back to 1500 BC. The bronze casting art was well developed in those days. You can see a very dangerous axe of the Celtic appearance, so-called. This is not an eye axe. Tendons were threaded through it. They tightly glued to the handle after drying. You can probably say so. This period is called the Xiongnu Xiangbei. They exterminated and enslaved the Scythian Caucasoid population. For the first time, the proportion of people with Turkic roots became significant here because the Mongoloid race came. The formation of the Khakass ethos probably began in that period. It happened in 201 BC. The local Tashtek culture was formed already in the 2nd century AD. This is a very interesting phenomenon. Its main distinguishing feature is the creation of a funerary post-mortem plaster mask for the deceased person. And now we can see the face of a man who lived 2,000 years ago. Counting the conversation about the ancient Khakass state, I should tell you about the most ancient writing, which has been deciphered for more than 120 years. We have found 63 such stellar sculptures at the moment. They are all decrypted. They were read from top to bottom. It is correct to call them runic script. This term was first used by a scientist of European origin. He was German. Well, now it is called the Okhon Yenesi script. You can read the song of praise in honor of the deceased military commander on it. This is a kind of his subordinates crying in the poems. 40 men see of him with all the valor and honors. In order for him to enter his world well in a new disguise and in a new form, a message was written on behalf of the deceased, from the back of the stela usually. It contained what he had achieved, what qualities he possessed, and so on. All of them are now decrypted. These symbols. It's possible
This letter is similar to our letter.
they have somehow come into the Khakass culture. Many of these symbols are repeated in the Khakass clan's family symbols.
It was very interesting to come to Abakan. I really liked the nature here. People here look like Kazakhs, Mongols. I was told they look a bit like Indians, so I was very interested in it. They like to explain their culture. They have a very rich culture. Hello, we are on the Abakan observation deck. It is on a mountain called Samokhval. There is a memorial in honor of the great victory. The correct name is the Memorial Complex in memory of the Fatherland Defense victims. The sculptor, Vyacheslav Nikolaevich Kuchenov, created this beautiful bronze soldier to perpetuate the memory of soldiers who died defending the motherland. He symbolizes the Khakass people's resilience. He's tense, his gun is pointed down. He does not attack anyone, but he is ready to defend himself. You can see 5 large stones arranged in a circle. These are the stels of cities. There are 5 cities and 8 districts in Khakassia. All 5 cities are listed here. There is a small plate near each city. Each plate shows the number of city people died on the fronts of the Great Patriotic War. This observation deck, which offers a view of the city, is located on the mountain. We also call it the Love Mountain. There is a small hill and a pavilion in that direction. Newlyweds love to come there very much. They take photos against the background of their favorite city in which they will live. At the end of our tour, I want to give you this map of Khakassia and the city of Abakan. Explore, travel, and thank you for visiting us. Thank you very much. They like the guests visiting them. I feel they are very hospitable.
Good afternoon. We are very glad to welcome you to the Sayanogorsk Town Tourist Information Center. It was created here quite recently. Russians and Khakass people have been living side by side on the banks of the Yenisei for more than 300 years. Therefore, our task is to unite these two cultures, to support and preserve the traditions, lifestyle and rituals of these two peoples, Russians and Khakass. So I invite you to go to the peasant farmstead, where I'm going to tell you about what our ancestors used. The sleigh is designed for driving in winter, of course. They went for firewood using them, for example. They also moved from one locality to another. The newlyweds were taken to church for the wedding and then drove around the city or village in such britskas. The house is the first foundation where a person recognized his father and mother. There is such a thing as a father's house. They built without a single nail, fitting the logs to each other. The house was divided into 2 parts. The cold one was called a crate or a storage room. All sorts of household utensils were stored here. The warm part of the house is the chamber. The central place is occupied by the oven, of course. Here is our beautiful, warm, plump oven. The further decoration of the house depended on its location. We have the phrase to dance from the oven. They seated bread in the oven with a shovel like this. It was exact seated in the oven as a dear guest. This is a hall. It's practically a mixer, whipping our sour cream with sugar for buns or shangas. Using it is very convenient. The oven warmed them. The oven fed them. They slept on the oven, mostly children and old people, of course. Initially, the Russian oven was used instead of a bath. They washed inside it. The hole was large, and children, old people washed in the warmth. There were chests and benches next to the oven. They slept on the benches and chests. Of course, the goods were stored in the chests as well. This is the first iron. It is called a ruble because it has many welts. Therefore, it was used as a musical instrument in Russia. They not only ironed the laundry, but also washed with it. They beat out the dirt with this back part on the river. They wound a piece of clothing on a rolling pin and, of course, it's all labor-intensive and long. The red corner is another very important place in the house. In this corner there was a shelf on which icons were placed. As a rule, the head of the family always sat at the head of the table. The guest entering the house bowed to the icon and then greeted the owner of the house. If the host wanted to do a great honor to the guest, he invited him to sit in his seat and said, "This is your seat not by flattery, but by honor."
I discovered that they have a yurt. It is divided into male and female parts.
We are in a traditional Khakass yurt. Goddess Ot-in, Mother of Fire or Goddess of Fire, is very revered by the Khakass people. She was depicted as a beautiful woman in red clothes. It was forbidden to touch these clothes. Please note that the yurt is divided into female and male parts. This is based on gender. The yurt has an honorable and non-honorable side on a social basis as well. The non-honorable side is from the hearth to the threshold, and the honorable side is from the hearth to the other side, the table and the western part of the yurt. The table was considered and is considered a special place. For example, babies cannot be swaddled on the table. The table is low Oriental style. The guests sat around and the host sat at the head of the table. The children slept next to the hearth because the floor was covered with untreated animal skins, which were so hard and stiff. The smoke was removed through this hole at the top of the yurt. This hole was covered with a special tent when there was a blizzard, storm or hail. Parents were very revered by their children according to the Eastern tradition. The children were obedient and never contradicted them. They knew that their children would respect them in the future as well. That's right. We are on the bank of the Great Siberian River. This is the Yenisei. It divides the territory of Russia in half. One part is eastern and the second is western. You can see it if you fold the map. The river flows into the Arctic Ocean, so we have free access to the Arctic Ocean. Hello, and welcome to the Russian Cultural Center. I would like to treat you to tea with blini that we cooked ourselves. We're going to treat you to our Siberian herbs. We picked the ingredients for tea in our taiga. Fragrant tea. It's awesome, isn't it? Could you taste the blini with sour cream, please?
I can do that, right?
Yes, you can.
Mmm, it's tasty.
Yes, it's
It's called blini,
so
isn't
taste
it?
Bablu, we always say there is no future without the past when we see our guests off. We really hope you will come to us again someday. Come visit us, of course. We want to give you this basket with apples. These apples are the symbol of our village, Maina, our Siberian corner. To your health, come again.
I really liked their treat with a national dish. And I really enjoyed learning how to cook talgan. Talgan is a wheat dish that they make at home.
Talgan is a Khakass and not only Khakass food product, unique in its nutritional value. Talgan begins by sowing seeds of barley or wheat in the fields. The grains are harvested at the end of August. Then they are dried and fried. Dear friends, you can watch this. The aroma of fried grains arises after roasting the grains. Now the future talgan is called orba. Yes, we are going to take a look at it. As I mentioned earlier, there are two types of talgan, wheat and barley. The wheat orba can be immediately ground with turban after roasting the grains. And barley orba required longer processing. It should be spilled out and done this way. This should be done to separate the grain from the chaff. We should dispel this remaining husk with a hand winnower to finally separate the grains from the chaff.
Нужно было при помощи саргас ручной веялки развеять, да, вот эту вот оставшуюся шелуху шилпсных айдық зарының.
The turban is a hand mill.
Сіздің қоларың ник болсын, достарың бих болсын. Жасқылық, таланық болыңар. Ертеңер, алтын стол кестеңе, арлық алжыларыпс, арлық алжыларыпс.
They gave me a chance to try to do it. They remembered that I am a vegetarian, and they specially cooked a lot of vegetarian dishes for me. It was very good.
I would like to treat you to our various Khakass dishes. They are very tasty and healthy. Yes, it's talgan.
Is it talgan?
There is the topping with bird cherry and nuts. Yes, it contains a lot of fiber. It's very healthy for the digestive system.
It's very tasty.
It's good for the whole body.
Thank you.
Try our tea, please. It is with milk and very tasty.
This is your tea.
This is tea with milk and herbs. We add oregano to it.
Very tasty.
These are mushrooms in sour cream. They are boiled and fried.
Can I try it?
Yes, of course.
It's delicious.
This is Pazailag cheese. You can taste it to make sure it is very delicious and low calorie. It's very good for the stomach. It's tasty, isn't it?
Delicious.
You can taste our Taija lingonberries.
И, пожалуйста, вы можете попробовать нашу брусничку, таежную ягоду.
Delicious.
Yes, it's very tasty
Yes.
and very healthy. This is Khakass cereal, kutka. Would you like to
It's
taste
with
it?
cheese,
It's
right?
with sour cream. Yes, with sour cream. No
With sour
cheese.
cream.
Без сыра.
You can taste the sour cream.
Yes, you can feel the taste of it.
According to what I read about Abakan, the nature is beautiful here. The place is also called the Siberian Switzerland. If someone tells me that the life expectancy here is 120 years, I will really believe it because the nature is great here. We are on the bank of a beautiful river called the Bely Ilus. The river begins in the upper Berenjak, 76 kilometers from here. Theoretically, we can reach the Caspian Sea by boat. Are you ready to travel? Yes, let's go. If you are ready, I suggest you take your comfortable seats on this wonderful catamaran and go sailing. So, we're on the water. Listen to the rules. We have our paddles, right? We hold the paddles like this. This is the three-eyed arch. A panorama of the Bolshoi Takhzaski cave opens. Its height is 12 meters. Its depth is 40 meters. There is a runic inscription on the right side at the entrance to the cave. My country, my Khan, my name is Hero Agdam Yinal. My brother came safely down from the mountains and found out. But we just have to guess what he found out. Maybe he found out that there is a beautiful land here. We are on the territory of an open-air museum. This is the Shirin Archaeological Park. We are going to overcome all the way to the cave and see how the ancient people lived there. We are in front of the cave of Proskoryakov. It was in this cave that the site of an ancient man was discovered. Animal bones, woolly rhinoceros, hyena were found here. Let's go up inside the cave. There are petroglyphs inside the cave. I'm going to show them to you. Probably, they hung mammoth skins or other animals on the cave entrance. There was a hearth here. This is a heated room. These images are 4 or 4,500 years old. This is the period of Okunov culture. There is a view of the entire Khakass mountain range from here. You can also see the trailway line. The length of the trailway is about 4.5 kilometers. The round hike takes about 4 hours. As I said, there are places of power on the trailway. We're near one of them. This one is positively charged, and this one is negatively charged. If we stand in the center point, we will find ourselves in the magnetic field. I advise you to come to Khakassia because the nature is magnificent here. I was very lucky to get a chance to come to Khakassia. Thank you to all the people in Khakassia for their hospitality. Thank you very much. Khakassia. Goodbye, Khakassia.